All right, I've got at least 3, and we're live on YouTube. Let me go ahead and start this, Zane, and then we'll jump into you.
Okay.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Infinity Solutions with Infinity AAA Project and Mike Nashif here, answering your questions about plasma, light energy, how to connect it to your electronic devices, and all that kind of happy stuff. All right. Today's edition, a little bit further into, I'm going to answer Zane's questions and anybody else's, and then I'm going to put out a call to all of the Indigo children or people that believe that they're children or they are part of the Indigo group. Okay? It's not exactly what you feel it might be, and it's not what they're going to tell you if you go searching for it on the internet. It's very important. Things are ramping up, and information is being downloaded and passed along to the people. Okay. That being said, we're going to go ahead and move with Zane. Okay. Go ahead, Zane. You up?
Yes, brother. So can you explain to me a little bit about the GANs themselves? You know, I'm trying to understand. Okay, are the GANs? They're a field. They have a specific magnetical gravitational field for each one, right? And
yes.
they're like minute little magnets.
Monopole magnets, yes.
Okay, and couldn't we make diamonds with them?
Well, you can make the same structure as diamond if you take your nano coating, okay, if you take your little black nano coating that you've got, right, and crush it with your pliers, okay, your nano coating becomes a diamond structure, okay, because you're adding pressure to the carbon that's already present on the surface of that copper wire, okay, and I believe that this has already been proven, I guess.
I know it's a two-dimensional structure, but I was wondering why the hydrogen peroxide turned the copper gauge from a blue to a gold.
Why it turned your GANs to a gold?
Yeah, I posted a bunch of pictures on Facebook, so I was hoping that somebody could feed me some kind of information and just trying to pick people's brains, but everybody seems at a loss, you know? I know it's all brand new and you know, it's just extremely interesting. I'm so intrigued and I just want to understand better, you know?
All right. Now, I'm hoping you're going to have to turn off your mic.
Turn off my mic?
Yes. Or a speaker. There you go. Somebody else. Me.
Your mic's off, Mike. Yeah, your mic's off. You're on mute.
Okay, so on the 1/16th Knowledge Seekers Workshop, he was talking about diamonds, how to bake them at the end of the session.
Yeah, Mr. Kesh likes to talk a lot of things, but what is the point of making a diamond?
Okay. It's not, you can't eat it. You can't do anything with it right now. You know, it's a distraction right now. And you know, it's not, you know, sure, don't be caught up in the flashy things of being able to create diamonds and gold and all of that, because the system that we have in place right now, it's not going to matter because it's going to crash. Where are you going to take your diamonds to?
Well, it's for the power that is provided from the structures. That's
the crystal in your units.
Well, when you guys learn, okay, and that's why we're here, obviously. But when you learn that all the energy you need is right here in this little piece of nano-coated copper, okay, that when you can extract the energy off the surface of this nano-coated piece of copper, you have all the energy you possibly need. Because as you're extracting it from the surface, okay, it's being replaced faster than you can extract it.
right.
Okay. And it doesn't need to be anything else. And, you know, it's just a matter of nano coding, learning to get the energy, you know, derived from nature. Okay. And if we can't utilize, you know, like copper tape, like I've got, or, you know, whatever, okay, there's always at least 25 feet of copper wire in these houses. You know, there's always 25 feet of copper wire in an alternator in your car. And if your car isn't working and you've got, you know, copper wire in there, you can make this stuff. All right. And it's really about the survival aspects. And, you know, I think that a lot of the expectations of the Kesh Foundation are very, are too high at the moment. And they're trying to throw too many things all at once to all these new people that are coming in. Okay. And they haven't sit through the 200 plus, you know, teachings that the Kesh Foundation provides with every detail. You know, they only come in at the last few minutes. So, you know, I don't want to get into the things that Mr. Kesh is doing, okay, when it comes to this, because it's too confusing. We're here to simplify things down and help you understand a little bit better. Just remember, it's not the man, it's the message. Okay? Right. And that's what we need to get out here is listening to the message, is that you're able to provide for yourself. Okay. And if you can provide for yourself, then that means you can help provide for your neighbor.
Yes.
And, you know, it's not about, you know, making gold. I've got $20 worth of pennies here that I'm pretty sure I can turn into gold. Yeah. You know, no problem.
I was just
and
thinking,
I just don't need it right now.
Yeah, that would be good for coating. That would be good for the nano coating, you know? That thing would be superb.
Well, hydrogen peroxide, okay? I made mine using hydrogen peroxide, and I used 2 wire whisks, okay? I'm going to pull these up. Okay. Now, I use these 2 wire whisks from Walmart. They're like $3 a piece. I know that they're stainless steel. All right. One of them has to be nano coated, and stainless steel is extremely hard to nano coat. All right, because of its density. All right. So what I did here was I wrapped one of my little cards. All right. Hold on, Zane. I wrapped one of my nano coated cards around it. Okay, and that's where I connected my electrode. All right, and nothing of that battery touched the stainless steel part. It only touched the nano coating. Okay, so the energy that's passed through the nano coating gets transferred to the stainless steel, and it's already in nano language.
Right.
Okay, it's like a filter for the energy here. Now, that gives me the nano side of my stainless steel, and then I've got my regular. Okay, which is just regular unnano coated. It's like taking nano coated copper and regular copper and putting the two together. Okay, and you're going to get copper oxide, or you're going to get pure copper GaNs, okay, or neutrinos. Well, I used hydrogen peroxide as the liquid instead, and I put 1 teaspoon of baking soda in it.
Did you use the 3% or the 35% food grade?
It's the stuff you buy at Walmart.
88 cents.
3%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just 3% with a preservative additive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's whatever this is. So I think it is 3%. Yeah, 3% hydrogen peroxide inside of it, and the rest of it's water. Okay.
Yeah, that's what you buy in the stores. You can go to a beauty supply and get 10%.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
35.
It's all hydrogen peroxide. Okay. What you're doing is you're just separating the hydrogen from the oxygen.
Right.
When you run an electrical current through it. All right. That's all I did. And then I sprayed coconut oil on the surface of the water. Okay. And the coconut oil put a film over the top of that water. Okay. Or the hydrogen peroxide. And the idea was to trap the essence of the hydrogen as it was coming out. Okay. Because I knew that it was going to release it. And in doing so, I also created a CH3 mixture that is a rust color, just like your CH3 GANs.
Yeah.
Okay. So that just tells me that I've made CH3, okay, iron oxide or iron neutrinos, or the strength of neutrinos in there, and I put the 12 volts on it for about 3 minutes. Okay. And for 2 hours afterwards, I had this, the one in the center. Okay. I had this attached to it. And for about 2.5 hours, 2 hours or so afterwards, it kept producing and releasing all the hydrogen. Okay. And so eventually, this liquid that was hydrogen peroxide turned into water. It just released the extra hydrogen. Okay. And so I collected that up, and I can tell that this is darker, okay, more of a red or a burgundy color than my normal CH3, okay? The CH3 is a rust-colored, kind of a bright yellowish, tinge to it, whereas this one has more of a burgundy color. And that tells me that I've got tritium, or not tritium, but deuterium, heavy hydrogen trapped into it, okay? And it's mixed in with my CH3. It's not pure, but it's not, by itself, okay?
Right.
And so now I've got the iron, and I've got the that are all trapped in there. I used the iron to create the magnet, right? So that once the plasmatic circuit was complete and it kept trying to release all the hydrogen from it, that it would continue to run until all of the hydrogen was gone.
Right.
Okay. And now I have this water, basically, of washed hydrogen and CH3. But I still want to mix it, rinse it out with fresh water, get it going, okay? And I use the clear water from that as like the water GANs, okay? So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, Mike, can you put this on big screen, or is it my?
You?
No, you. I've got you on the side in the little.
To be.
There, is that better?
Yeah, there you are.
All right.
Center stage.
There we go. So now, when you got to go back through my teachings, okay, if you want to understand a little bit more about the GANs, okay? What I call a neutrino is the same thing as a GANs. Okay, so don't try to think that you need to be confused or, something in that aspect. A neutrino is a GANs. Okay, I can explain a neutrino, but I cannot explain a gas at nanostate. Okay, because it's not a gas. The terminology was used because humans can comprehend the concept that gas will take up space. All right, and you have to be able to identify or realize that it doesn't have to be just a gas that will take up space, okay? Light actually takes up space as well. We just have to capture it a certain way. And that's what we use these nano-coated pieces of copper, you know, and these little CO2 kits, the capture kits that we've got. All of those are just tools for capturing it, okay? The GANs, or a neutrino, is a positively charged entity. It's an intelligence. And because we can capture it into salt water, okay, it's the same way that, you know, it happens here on the planet, all right? Whenever you get a fire and something goes underwater, all right, and it's a fire, it's like volcano, for instance, okay? All of that soot and the bubbles and everything that's created in there, it creates a chemical reaction, just like we do if we make our hot caustic and make the sea GANs, okay? It does the same exact thing. So, you know, we're just replicating nature, except we don't have to have 10,000 degree temperatures in order to do it, all right, all around us. Now, when I'm telling you that we're capturing these neutrinos, you have to use salt water, okay? The salt water is there because it has a negative polarity that wraps around the energetic field when you put your two plates together, okay? And that's what's causing you, okay, the salt water inside of your devices. That's what's causing you or allowing you to capture the energetic fields of these neutrinos, all right? And that's why we use the 10% salt solution, okay? It's around the same salinity as what's here on the planet, okay? Your definition of being a magnet has to change, okay? And I'll give you a demonstration, and it's really simple, and you're gonna kick yourself, because when you think of something as being magnetical, you think only metal can be magnetic, right? Well, that's not the case, okay? We could put this piece of paper on here, okay? It's just a paper towel, right? We can put it on here and it's not gonna stick, right? We don't see it as magnetical, right? But as soon as you add water to this, it becomes magnetic, okay? This is your terminology for being magnetic. This is what we need to understand, right? It's not a magnetic. Water gives things a gravitational energy, all right? A gravitational energy means that it's attracting, all right? So whenever you're adding water to something, especially your GANs, even if it's fresh water, you're still attracting an energy to it, okay? That's why water has memory, because whatever you talk or whatever you say and your emotions, okay, are actually stored in this piece of cloth now with water on it, okay? It's now magnetic by our terminology. Now you can stick this to the wall, you can stick this to wood, you can stick it to glass, you can stick it to anything, right? Okay, because you've added water. Now you have to also remember that paint, anything that's liquid, that dries, okay? Like paint or a sealant or whatever. As soon as the chemicals evaporate from it and it dries, okay, it's the chemicals that make it gravitational or seemingly magnetical, that it'll stick to anything, right? Well, if you do that and you add your GANs to this, let's say to your paint, for instance, okay, now you're painting with a positive energy field no matter where you paint it, okay? And you can mix it directly into your paint buckets. I've done it already. I'm testing it out on wood now to make sure that it's not going to attract crystals, okay? Even if it does, that's okay, but I don't want it necessarily attracting the crystals to the side of my house at the moment, okay? I want to be able to control that energy and where that energy is going. Okay, so I put my paint on different surfaces like wood, different kinds of metal, rusty, clean metal. I've done it all. Okay, now you can do this with anything when you understand the versions of what we call magnetical and gravitational. Okay, magnetical in the plasma world, okay, in the world of light, means that it's giving outwards. Okay, that means that it's pushing out an energy field that when it's strong enough, you can feel it. Okay, it's kind of like walking next to a Tesla coil, if you ever have, and you can feel the hairs rise up on your arms. All right, you have entered the energy field where it changes the surroundings about you, so your hair responds differently. Okay, when you're outside of this energy field, the air pressure is holding your hairs down. Okay, it's holding them flat, it's holding it down, it's holding your skin in place, it's holding all that stuff in place, right? And then when you move into it, the hair rises up. Okay, that means that the energetic or the plasmatic pressure inside of there is less than what's around on the outside of that energy bubble. All right, so it's allowing the hairs to stand up on the ends, okay, because you've got less pressure on the body, okay, a less negative energy surrounding the body that's going to hold the hairs down. Okay, and when you can see this and you understand it, when you walk outside the next time and you feel the breeze pass over your body, okay, you should be able to notice the different temperatures. Okay, whereas, you know, down by your feet, it might seem a little warmer or maybe even a little cooler. Okay, like when you walk into your home and you had your air conditioner on. Okay, your head might be hot, but your feet are freezing. Okay, if you can picture that cooled air like an ocean, okay, and as soon as you open up your door, you can feel it pouring out at your feet, right? You can feel it passing by. Well, that's all plasma. It's just a different temperature of plasma. Okay, that's light energy, and your body picks up on that. Okay, because it speaks the same language, and that's what we're working with here on these GANs. Okay, because your body is made up of these GANs materials. Okay, and you're working with it on these nano coating. Okay, because you want to attract that specific energy, you need to have a place to condense it all, and so we create these nano coated devices. Okay, and a lot of you people out there that are indigo, okay, that are just coming into your awakening, okay, you've got a lot of questions. Okay, well, hopefully we've got a lot of answers for you. Okay, this is the skeleton for the Infinity Q device, and I say it's the skeleton because it's just the wires, okay, that have been nano coated. The importance of making this device really is going to come down to whether or not you survive in the coming catastrophes. I'm not much for a fearmonger, okay, but I know it's coming, and people don't take me seriously right now until it happens, okay, and other people and beings are warning us right now, especially here in America. And if you haven't seen the rainfall totals recently along the New Madrid fault line or the Mississippi River Valley, you need to go check again. Okay? All of this rainfall that's happened down the center of I-35 in the last 7 days, okay, 7 to 10 days, has been right down the middle of I-35 in Texas, okay, and in the Houston area. This is weather warfare. They're trying to dislodge as many Texans as possible so that they can introduce the FEMA programs, okay? Since Texas is such a pain in the government's ass, they're going to target us with weather. Now, it's the only thing that they can target right now on the ground. The other one is an EMP, electromagnetic pulse. And if that so much happens, all of your electronic devices, to include the internet, is going to go down. Your everyday life is not going to be affected physically, except that you're not going to have the communication devices to talk around the world. Okay? And that's why it's been so important that I put these videos up on the internet, because not every place is going to be affected by it. Okay? But America is a target, and we know this, and we're trying to fight up against it as much as possible. Okay? So if you are in America and you are watching this and you believe yourself to be an indigo and you're trying to figure out why you have all of this information and why you see all of this stuff, this is the reason. Okay? You're going to have to step up and take the knowledge that you've accumulated, and you're going to have to share it with the people. Right now, 97% of the human population, okay, is unable to wake up. Not that they don't want to. They are physically unable to wake up. Okay? And if you feel and you're wondering why your job or why you have this knowledge or why you've been suffering for all of these years, maybe even decades, okay, of feeling like you don't belong, it's because you're not from this planet. Okay? And it might sound ridiculous and it might sound crazy and whatever, but you have to decide. You have to decide for yourself what you believe. Okay? I'm not here to make a buck off of you. If you choose to support my teachings, then by all means, okay? I'm here to share this information with you. I've shown you how to make it. All you got to do is make it, okay? Watch the videos, write down your questions, and you can send it to me in message or you can post it on my wall. I will answer them as best as I can, okay? As the demand for my time grows, things become shorter and shorter. And I have a sense of urgency building up inside of me, which tells me that there's something big about to go down. And I've learned to trust myself, and I hope that you guys who are watching and been learning from me, okay, is I hope you trust me enough to do something about it too. Now, it's not a panic button, okay? Get yourself some of this 100% drain opener, the lye, okay? Get yourself some of this potassium hydroxide while you still got a chance, okay? Collect up on it because that's all you need. You don't have to stock up on food. You don't have to do any of that stuff unless you're going to make your own food gains, okay? There are plenty of videos out there that you can create to make all of the things that you need, okay? All of the food. Instead of eating food, you're going to be making and drinking a water, okay, that has the same energy as the food. So now we're not taking a life anymore. You no longer have to take from something that's living just so you can survive, okay? And that's what we're working with here, guys. We can't leave this planet as long as you eat plants and animals. And if you want to, you've got to learn how to use this plasma devices so that it can feed your cells and feed your body, okay? And then you can stop consuming all of these toxins that are purposely put into our food and into our water to keep you from waking up, all right? All of you indigo children out there, all of you that understand the words that are coming out of my face, okay? If you understand even one sentence, you are an indigo. You are here to help people, okay? So if you're looking for a purpose and you're looking for a way to help people, this is it. But you got to help yourself first, okay? If you have the resources and you can do some of these other more complicated, setups, like a glass sphere rotating inside of another glass sphere, okay? If you can do all of that stuff, by all means, please do, okay? Because we're going to need your expertise. My job is obviously not meant to do that because I tried to do it this afternoon and I can't put it together. Well, I'm not going to waste time on it because I don't have the right tools for it. That means somebody else does, all right? And when you nanocoat your copper wire, okay, even if it's just little pieces of copper wire, okay, and they're nano-coated, it will absorb radiation from the water, okay? It will absorb all of the negative energies that are toxin to life, okay? It'll absorb it, and it'll purify your water for you, about 90% purification. So in the event that there's an earthquake along the New Madrid fault line, there is a shit ton, okay, of nuclear reactors along this fault line, guys. Now, our whole goal would be that they get shut down and neutralized. That would be perfect. Is that likely going to happen? Probably not, okay? We will have other beings here that are already present. You just can't see them. They are showing themselves more and more as to not be a complete and utter shock for complete society. They will help us with the decontamination of our oceans and our waters of these nuclear contaminants, okay? The earthquake has to happen. It's part of this timeline. It has to happen, but we've changed the timeline. It's not supposed to be destructive. There will be some loss of life, but you have to understand that that loss of life doesn't mean death. It's not the same kind of death that we're used to, okay? The reincarnation circle has been broken, all right? When you die, you're released from this human flesh skeleton body that we've got, your avatar, okay? You still have a mission. You're still here to help the rest of them. You might be an emotional trigger for somebody else to awaken, okay? Don't be afraid, because it's not what you think, okay? When you come back, you'll be a trillion times more powerful. Don't you even worry about that part, okay? But while you're alive and you're in this body, help the people that you can. How do you say? What's the easiest way? Be a kind person. That's all it takes. Just be a kind person. Go out and make a point every day to help somebody. Whether it's your last $5 in your pocket, or it's giving somebody a jacket who could use it because, you know, it's supposed to be summer and it's snowing outside. You know, those are the things that we need to take into contemplation. Make these devices, learn it, understand the terminology, okay? Because you're going to be a teacher. You learn from me. I learned from higher. I learned from other people. I bring it all together into a nice, neat little package, as simplified as I possibly can, okay? And I share it with you. Now, you can put this stuff in conjunction with other devices that you have, okay? Your cell phone, your radios, your things like that. You can put them all in there, and they become protected from these electromagnetic pulses, all right? The plasma energy does not work on the electron energy. So even if your generator might be dead because of an EMP or something, you can still use that generator, okay, to create the energy that you need. And future classes will show this, okay? I don't know a time frame. I don't have a time frame for this, okay? Where I get my information from, there is no time. Okay, I just get a group of pictures that are all crammed together, and I get all the emotions that come along with it. All right, and I'm not the only one right now. Now, the earthquake does have to happen, because what's being shown to me is that the New Madrid is going to crack. Okay, when it does, all of those tunnels that are underneath the United States are going to fill up with water. So all those jackasses that left you behind are going to be flushed out like little parasites in the bowels of Mother Earth. Okay, they've been hiding and utilizing those tunnels from us, from the surface population, for a very, very long time. Okay, and she's tired of these parasites inside of her, and she's going to fill that up with water. Okay, there's so many of them in such a large amount that the actual water level is going to lower on the oceans. Okay, so now we don't have to worry about the landmass flooding. Okay. But you do have to worry about the pressure that needs to be released, okay? And the pressure that's being released is going to be through volcanoes and small earthquakes, okay? When I say small earthquakes, a 9.0 can be a small earthquake compared to what Mother Earth is used to giving out around this time, okay? She has decided that humanity deserves a chance. And instead of shaking us off like fleas and flooding the entire surface population, we're getting rid of the parasites, okay? And if this seems foreign to you and it doesn't make sense and and whatever else, it's okay. It's not meant for you right now, okay? But the truth will come out, and you will see it in the future time. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm here to make sense of the things that you see. And a lot of people don't understand what they're seeing right now. And I remember when I first awoke over a year ago, okay, I saw all sorts of things, okay? I was given images of all sorts of things, and I didn't know what to make of it, okay? I had to, I guess, relive one of, or several of my assassination attempts, okay? That's how real they were. I was going into a panic. I had to question my own sanity, okay? Because they were as real as if they had happened yesterday. That was the memories. And being able to convey those and learn from those memories and say, okay, it didn't work that way that time. All right, now I've got to learn and do something different now, okay? And that's how you're going to learn to cope with all these extra memories that you're getting now, okay? And the world that you live in right now is a 3D holographic world that you, as the Indigo children, okay, the Indigo race, has created. We are all the creators of this, and we've been placed here because of our creation. The humans have not been able or allowed to evolve like they're supposed to, okay? It's kind of like, putting a dark lid over the top of some flowers that you've just planted, okay? In our course of evolution, they put that dark lid over the top of us, and they created this world that doesn't exist for us, okay? And each of our eyes right now are like little projectors that when our hearts change, we're no longer fearful, okay? We can project out what we see, okay? And one way that you can tell if you're an Indigo child, okay, or an Indigo, is to look up at a piece of the sky, okay, that's got blue in it, okay, and it's pretty bright out, and not so much where the sun is, okay? You just want to look at the blue and sit there and daydream for a few minutes. Let your eyes relax, okay? And if you see any kind of movement within your field of vision, okay, I don't care how small it is or how large it is, if you see any movement, okay, that's an indication that you can see the outer edge of your auric field, okay, which resides about 2 feet in front of you. Okay, and that's kind of where you're focusing your eyes. Only special people can see that, and what you're seeing are live entities, live plasmatic entities. Now, when you learn about them and you can see them, you figure out that you can interact with them, okay? That's what you need to look for, okay? The other thing you guys need in order to hone your skills, okay, is the ability to control your own energy field, all right? And all I've got here is a piece of aluminum foil, okay? I got a nail stuck underneath here. I'll take it off. Through an eraser, okay? I've got a nail sitting on it because it's got a nice smooth tip on it. I took a piece of aluminum foil, all right, made a point, and I'm just gonna set it on top, okay? You wanna make sure that it can spin freely. Okay? And then utilize the energy that you have to turn it. Okay? And when you learn how to manipulate this energy, okay, you can figure out how to project it. All right? And that's kind of the idea here, is that you want to be able to project your energy. Now, some people have told me, oh, it's going the same direction that you're moving. Okay. Well, yes, it is. But there are times when you'll be able to see when I'm more concentrating and not trying to talk. Okay. You'll be able to see this energy move. Now, you can do all sorts of things with it. Okay. What kind of power do you have? All right. You guys can decide for yourself. You can clearly see that I'm not touching this. Okay. Try it for yourself, guys. You have this energy. You have this power within inside of you. Okay. Some of you can make that thing float. Some of you can make it spin super fast. Some of you can even put it inside of a glass globe. I'm not strong enough for that yet. Okay. Otherwise, I would have demonstrated that. Okay. Or maybe there's something inside the glass. But the point here is that you have it. You just need to learn how to express it. Okay. And that movie that just came out where I think it's Matthew McConaughey, okay, and they go into a black hole and he's hitting on the walls on the inside of this black hole and books keep falling off. Okay. Well, you've noticed that he's got to exert a whole lot of energy to get that book to fall off the other side. Okay. So you need to learn to harness the energy that's inside of your body, okay, and push it outwards. Get it out of your body. Push it out. Control it. Use your hands, okay? This is how you activate your body. It's a muscle, and you've got to use it, okay? This might seem like some cute little trick or whatever else, but this is it, guys. These are the powers that you've been asking for. You just got to learn to practice with it, okay? You got to use that muscle. You got to give and take, okay? And when you learn about the structure of light, it's a little bit easier to understand, okay? Like what Zane was talking about, where each one of these little GANs that we make, okay, smaller than an atom, is like a monopole magnet. All right. And if you think of every object like that aluminum foil as a monopole magnet, okay, I'm a positive entity. The aluminum foil is a negative entity. Okay. We create a natural attraction to each other. All right. And that's why I'm able to move it. Okay. And manipulate it. And in the ability of being able to manifest movement, okay, based off of your own personal energy field, okay, you can figure it out. It's not hard, okay. Some people have just recently tried to do this, but where did I put it? Oh, right there. Okay. Just utilizing the energy, okay. I've got this on 12 volts here, guys. Let's see if we can get you to see this. All right, you can see the meter. It's on 12 volts, okay? I'm going to touch the two leads together. Should zero out, okay? I'm going to touch the positive one to my heart and the other one to my finger, okay? From the looks of it, my heart is giving off a 0.5 volt of energy right now, okay, or 0.2. Yeah, 0.2, just a little less than, all right? So what are we going to do about this? That's just my heart. Okay. These are my fingertips. Now we'll go back to my heart. Okay. It's just going to continue to grow. This is the energy that we're working with here. All right. I've taken a pencil and I've made a capacitor out of it because I wanted to see. I used a leaf from my elephant ears here. Okay. I just cut off a piece of the leaf. It's a yellow one, not a green one. Okay. And now get to show you the energy that's from it. We can zero this out. Okay. This is from a pencil, guys. And you see it jumping around because it's trying to read every plasmatic field that is within that pencil lead. Okay. Now I'm getting 0.3 volts. Okay. Just out of a piece of pencil, some copper wire, aluminum foil. Okay. And some parchment paper and a leaf. Now this will last me for a long time. Okay. You make 12 or so of these and it'll produce about 10 volts. Okay. That's just using pencils. If you don't have bigger copper wire, you know, like I have handy, okay? If you don't have bigger copper wire, you can use the pencil lead inside of your pencil, okay? And that's all I've done here, okay? And I wanted to show you. It's just, I scraped off all the paint, okay? And I've got just the wood, plain wood on the outside, all right? And then you can see I've got the pencil lead over there, okay? Let's touch it. What do we get? See? That's without anything else. It's just dipping it in the hot caustic liquid, okay? The drain opener. And that's what we're dealing with here, okay? It's just a pencil. What else do you got in your house, okay? You can take the pencil shavings and add that to your water, okay? And whenever you put that on top of, you know, anything else. See, now let's just add this on the outside of here to give it a few extra electrons. This is just aluminum foil, okay? Haven't dipped it in anything, just regular plain aluminum foil that I cut into a strip, okay? And you see the difference now, okay? It's almost producing a whole volt. There it is, 1 volt. And charging 1.5 or 1.2. Okay. And that's just utilizing a pencil. And that'll be sustained because wood has its natural, it has its natural structure, which is already built in, okay? And nature trumps all. But that's a pencil, okay? A pencil and a piece of aluminum foil. How are we going to get that energy off of there? You know? Well, you can do the same thing with your nano-coated piece of copper. This is about a 4-inch piece here, okay? We're going to go ahead and pull this back up and give you a comparison, all right? Because that's only fair. Again, it's set on 12 volts. Here it is. All right. This is just from a piece of copper wire, guys. Okay, it's jumping around all these different numbers that you see are all the different energetic fields that it's reading. It's not really reading electrons, okay? It's just the energy that's on the surface of this nano-coated piece of copper, all right? So let's do this again, right? Let's see what it does when you just add plain aluminum foil. And you see I just rolled it a couple of times, okay? What's the difference? You see the big jump in energy fields, okay? Once it finds its balance, that's when you're going to get the stabilized reading, okay? But that's just a nano-coated piece of copper wire and aluminum foil, all right? There's no D-cell battery, no AA battery or anything like that, okay? This is just utilizing the energy, the ambient energy that we have floating around us all the time, okay? The same energy that your auric field translates with, okay? So when you're talking and you're trying to figure all this stuff out for yourself, okay, ask yourself, how can I compound this? Right? Wouldn't you like to sit down and make 24 of these once? Okay. If that's all it takes, and it only takes one time that you make 24 of these, and you have a power supply to recharge your batteries, for instance, okay, your 12-volt battery system maybe, okay, if you compound it into the infinity devices that we teach you how to make, okay, you realize that we're taking this little bit of energy that we've got, okay, we're multiplying it by however many wires you've got, and in all of my devices, there's 4 in each one of these circles, okay? So if I've got 6 circles in here, that's 24 field interactions. That's like making 24 of these bad boys, okay? And so it's compounding all that energy built up into this, and you have one wire in, okay, and you have one wire that's out. That happens to be the short wire, okay? And as that energy goes in, it's going to collect all the excess energy that's here and push it outwards, okay, into your devices, into your power grid, okay? And that's where you get the reduction of your electric bill, all right? Because it's going to give the same amount of energy that you put through those wires, all right? Now, with that being said, is there any questions right now regarding these devices and what I've said over the last 15, 20 minutes or so? Anuj, if you could check on YouTube, that would be fantastic. The sense of urgency here is, guys, is that we need to get it done. We need to make these things because time is running short. Lori has a question. Should I dip my IQ in the ash water? If it makes you feel better, then yes. Okay. I would suggest that if you have some of the caustic solution, to dip it in the caustic solution, even if it doesn't turn black, okay? Or spray it on there. Unless you have aluminum foil. If you have aluminum foil, the caustic solution will dissolve the aluminum, okay? And you want the ability to be able to touch your device, okay, or get close to it, okay? So yes, anything that you have that you're attaching to your device, your coils, anything like that, if you just dip it in the ash water, you know that it's covered, okay? If you want something that's visual on it, use the caustic, all right, and it'll become black, all right? I'm more of the visual person. and I want to see that it's being coded, because if it's not, then it's not working correctly. All right, and I have used this method of dipping it in the ash water, and it works fine. But I did get zapped on the second one that I made, and I don't know why. I shouldn't have gotten zapped. Okay. The conditions that were in place was that it was raining, my feet were wet, and I was standing on the nail when I started to feel the energy of being zapped. Okay. I didn't actually get zapped, but I could feel that I was about to get zapped from it. Okay. I could feel the tingling in my fingers, and that wasn't a good feeling, and you'll know it. Let's see. I would also like the ball that goes in the middle. Would it be beneficial to have that spin? Well, of course, everything in our universe spins. Okay. If you want a natural reaction out of it, then yes, you might want to spin it. Okay. Earlier today, I was working on trying to attach a globe, a glass globe this big, to a smaller fan. And, this is just too heavy for what I need out of it for that fan. So I've got to start over. And I'll probably end up using a giant box fan with it and using the smaller fan for the smaller glass balls that goes inside of it. So any other questions? Did I put the battery capacitor to the mini mag grabs? Yes. Okay. These are inside of here. Okay. I just took the shape of it. This is just the skeleton. Okay. Each one of these rings needs to look like this center. Okay. Without that. Okay. Needs to have the tissue paper and the aluminum foil wrapped on it. Okay. And I've got all the descriptions on how to make your capacitor rings. All right. These are just power cells that I made using leaves and the tissue paper and the GANs. Okay. So that I ensure that there's a plasma flow inside of all of this. Okay. But when you make your IQs, this is what the inside of each one of those rings will look like. Okay. So you're actually putting, like the central core has 4 rings. You're putting 4 capacitors. Okay. 2 on the outside, 2 in the center. Okay. And you're flipping them. Okay. And then when you make your outer shell, you've got 6. 1 for each side and then 1 for the top and the bottom. So now you've got 6 capacitors. But because each wire in here represents a single capacitor or a single field interaction, when you add 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever, okay, that number stays inside of each one of these loops. Okay, so if you put 9 passes back and forth before you made it a loop and twisted it together, okay, each ring would represent 9 field interactions. So 9 times 6 total rings would make it 54 field interactions. Okay. The number of twists doesn't matter. That's your security code. Okay. So when you think about it, there are 10 capacitors inside, crammed all into that little ball, okay, of the IQ. You can put any amount that you want, all right? I recommend that you put 4, all right, inside of it to start, okay? As you increase more, all right, you have to understand that the inside has to be contained by the outside. So if you have more energy on the inside of your core than the outside, okay, then you're not going to be able to contain the energy inside of it because it's going to be stronger. It's going to push out, okay? And what you want to do is contain the energy on the inside, okay? That's why I used 4 rings on the center, okay, and 6 on the outside. Does that make sense? Yes, as long as the outer one has more rings, okay, or more field interactions, okay, if you put quad cores all in the center, all right, like this one is, for instance, okay, and you got 4 times 4, that means that there's 16 field interactions here. Well, let's say you put 6 inside of here. So you had 3 rings in the center and 3 rings on the outside, okay? And each one of those had 6, okay? So 6 times 6 is going to tell you you've got 36 field interactions, okay? And you need to have more than 36, even if it's just 37 on the outside, all right? In order to contain this energy that's being formed here, okay? You got to remember that you got to keep it balanced, okay, in order to have the yin and the yang. And that's what you're looking for here. The yin and the yang is the energy exchange from positive to negative, okay? And when you create the energy where it's going to attract the positive to the negative, it creates motion, okay? And in that motion, that's where you get the rotation of your energy, whether it's clockwise, okay? Excuse me, counterclockwise, or clockwise, all right? So that's what we're working with this. What is the core of your little purple maggrav boxes with different waters? Okay. Those cores are the rodent coil cores that I've got. All right. This one in particular is not the answer, okay, because it doesn't have the central wire that's going through it. All right. But had I made this one with the central core going through it, okay, I would be able to put the power in one side, okay, usually it goes this way, put the power in here. It'll collect all of the energy that I've made with this, okay, transfer it to that center wire, and then move it out, okay? So it's basically like acting as a capacitor to build up the energy to store it, all right? And then as it's being released, it'll draw more energy to it, and it'll be a constantly feeding system, all right? But that's the one I used inside of that. And these were just perfect to sit inside of these little clear plastic containers. Okay, I don't want to put it inside of here, but these little containers that I got at Walmart, all right, for 88 cents a piece, these rodent coils just fit perfect inside of it. And I could put 2 side by side in here. And that's what I created for this power pack. All right, and I'm still working on it. And it's nano coating itself, okay? I can still get just a flash of light when I turn this thing on, all right? But I'm looking for ways that this can recharge itself. This battery was killed, okay? It was a 12-volt rechargeable battery. It only gives off about 1.5 volts now, all right? Inside of here, okay, I don't know if you could see them at all, but there are 2 each in each one of these, okay? There are 2 of these rodent coils with these pins that are coming out the centers, all right? And I've got them all connected here the way they're supposed to be, all right? And next I've got to make some capacitor rings that I want to store the energy from the battery, okay, and the ambient energy, and then utilize that to charge this battery up, okay? This is a voltage meter that when the time is right, I'll learn how to hook it up, okay? But for now, this is the new power station that I'm working on and attempting to bring it to the world, because as far as I can tell, with all the energy that we can produce with this, okay, once the energy flow is created and the plasma is secure inside, then I can run as many extension cords off of this. If I plug my device into it, I can run my extension cord off of it, no problem, okay? And it will power my entire home. Well, I believe it will also power anybody else's home that is connected to it, okay? And because it's giving off plasmatic energy, right, that means that all the stuff that it comes in contact with in your home, your copper wires, any of your devices, okay, that it'll start to nano coat them as well. Okay. And when it nano coats them, like your devices, for instance, my iPad here, all right, I plug it in to this. This had about, I don't know, it took all day to get 50% when I plugged it into the house. Okay. It took all day to get a 50% battery from nothing. It literally shut itself off and I plugged it in. Okay. So I brought it out here, and about an hour or so before I started all of this for the Infinity solutions, I had it plugged into my unit. Okay. Well, the unit is plasma energy, and I know that my device has been plugged into it before, but it took less than an hour to charge it to a 97% capacity. So you can see that it takes less energy to charge these things in these devices. All right, and it might be two days before this drains out, and I don't have to utilize it, or I have to plug it back in. But it'll start to nano coat your devices. Okay, eventually, when these all start working in harmony together, okay, my entire shed will become nano coated. My home will become nano coated. The copper wire will actually start to turn black over a few months. Okay. And it's just putting an insulation on it so that that plasma can travel throughout your home. Now, every circuit that you have, every breaker that you have in your circuit, okay, that's a completed plasma loop. So you have to think about it. Generally, there's two, all right, one for your wall plugs and one for your lights, okay? And if that's the case, then the being able to harness the energy that's transferring through your home, okay, your home actually becomes the power plant, okay? It starts to give off its energy field even bigger because of all the copper wire that you've got in your home becomes nano coated, right? And it starts to read your energy sources. Now, the problems that you're going to run into is not being able to turn your lights off, okay? Because you're going to have a constant power source available to you all the time. And that's what this is working towards, okay? We're not allowed to give that out yet. That's why you haven't seen any. There hasn't been a need for it yet because it's just the introduction of the information. And when the shit hits the fan, you're going to need this stuff, okay? That's why we're putting it out now. Try to save the information that you can, print it out, do what you can so that you can relearn all of this, okay? Question from Jose. Can you use a small IQ to recharge the battery? Okay. Yes, you should be able to, okay? My problem that I have right now is that I'm utilizing the power inverter, okay? And I have to have a fully charged battery in order to turn on that power inverter to get the cycles going, okay? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to charge the battery up utilizing the capacitors so that when I do turn the power inverter on, the circuit is complete, okay? My initial problem is not having enough juice to get that cycle complete because it'll automatically shut it off. When the LED light is on, okay, that tells me that there's enough juice running through it that's causing that LED to turn on, okay? When that happens, that means I've got enough amps to nano coat the rest of the device on the inside, okay? And anything else that I've got plugged into it. Okay? Other scenarios that I've got is working with generators, okay? And remember that if you've got the idea or the feeling that you might be a target of an EMP, or even not, you want to just protect yourself, okay? You plug your device directly into it, okay? Like I've got one plugged into my house and I've got one plugged into my shed. Now the wires may not be nano coated, but the entire outside of my home has a little energy field that I can see all the way around it, okay? And that little energy field is absorbing all of the energy from the atmosphere to feed my device. Okay, so it's got a gravitational energy field, which means that it's going to pull all of the energy that's being bombarded onto my home, okay, or my shed by the sun or the power lines or even just nanoparticles in the air. It's going to pull it up. Now, if you have been in a place where it's hot enough and you can see the mirage, okay, off of the top of a hot road, okay, or a building, and imagine that it looks like or moves like the dry ice. Okay, that's what the energy field looks like. And not everybody can see it, guys. Okay, so if you can, you're special. You need to utilize that power and that understanding of what you're seeing. So, are there any other questions? I want to go ahead and stop this recording here.